Ooh, all right. We're back with that. We're back with Jay, with Jen, and Dylan.
I lost my nickname already.
He lost it. We got each. Yeah, it happened quick. All right, we're here with chapter ecology. All right, ecology is a great topic. It comes up most on the test. It's pretty chill, so we could talk about this. So ecology, these are just a bunch of definitions here. You don't have to memorize all of them right now, but yeah. But look them over. Ecology is a study of how living things and non-living things interact. The environment, okay. Ecosystem, biotic. Okay, so here, let's just go to the next one. I'm struggling right now. We're off to a not such a great start. Okay, so this is I think the place where you start. There's a limited amount of any organism that could grow in any ecosystem or any environment, right? So we can't have unlimited humans in the world. Now, why can't we have unlimited humans in the world? Because there's limited resources. What are some examples? There's not enough water for everyone. There's not enough space for everyone. There's not enough mates for reproduction for everyone. There's not enough food for everyone. Now, those factors, they're called limiting factors, are divided into two types, biotic and abiotic. Biotic, as we said, means the study of living things. Biotic, biology. So that's a biotic factor. And abiotic is non-living. So sunlight, water, space. Biotic would be animals to eat, competition. And those things would ensure that there was a carrying capacity for any given environment. So if you saw a graph of a carrying capacity, which we will see, we'll see a graph that looks something like this. We have the graph. Nah, you know what? Let's not even do it. We'll see it when we see it. So yeah, that's that. So here's the graph right here on the next page. The increase of certain types of gases contributed to the problems of global warming. All these gases are abiotic, non-living. Okay. The next graph is carrying capacity. Why? The population grows, then it hits the limit, and then it goes up and down. And like we said, up and down, like homeostasis, that's always the way that we see straight. So the answer would be, why did it grow? What could have caused it? Increased food. More food grows very fast. Okay. Over a period of time, the location of the dashed line would move from B to C. Why would it go down, the carrying capacity of environment? So the answer is that's right. There was a decrease in the availability. Right. So if there's less resources now, then that would be a problem. The organisms in a pond and the physical factors influencing them, best described as an ecosystem. It's an individual system, exactly. Ecological roles. So you have predators. They eat animals. Prey, the animals that get eaten. Autotrophs make their own energy. Heterotrophs, decomposers, parasites. So I guess the best place to start is the food chain. So you have this little guy here. He makes his own energy. That's called an autotroph. How does he make his own energy? From the sun. So the sun's the starting place of everything. He's a producer or an autotroph. Then you have the consumer, eats him. This guy over here, the yellow fish, maybe would be called a herbivore. He's only eating plants. Then you have this guy here now as a carnivore. He's eating meat. An omnivore would be one that eats both. Now, in this food web, we can't see food chain. We can't see anyone that's eating both. That's why a food chain is limited, and the food web will give us a lot more details into what's going on. So, ecological roles. You think that's not going to show up, that honking? How could that? Dylan said I yelled at the honking on the thing and no one could even hear it.
You heard the honking?
You heard the honking. Dylan, you gotta listen to a little less volume on those music when you listen. Okay, that wasn't so funny. Autotrophs might survive when heterotrophs cannot, because autotrophs are able to make their own food. Okay. Which statement best describes the roles of decomposers?
Two.
Oh, so we didn't talk about decomposers, so let's talk about them quickly. The highest, it's not the highest level, but what happens at the end when the big fish, when the lion dies? His nutrients get restored to the soil in what's termed the circle of life. So Jen sings also. Yeah, in the circle of life. So that is the circle, that it gets returned to the environment. So decomposers are necessary because they return nutrients to the ecosystem, which shows best describes the decomposer, recycles nutrients, and I guess it would be called heterotrophic because it eats the other thing, like it's not doing it on its own. Mushrooms, C, that's going to be that's going to be the decomposers, those mushrooms. So explain why ecosystems require constant energy, because the animals need to eat it, they need energy to carry out life functions. Explain how organisms in B obtain energy. I eat the A. Explain C, those are decomposers. Identify all three that make their energy available. Respiration. All right, photosynthesis. I guess that's the thing. Photosynthesis is called respiration also. So maybe, I don't know. But yeah, deer ticks are responsible for the spread of Lyme disease. This organism, which feeds on the blood, is called a parasite. Someone who lives in someone else, eats up their energy, gives them no benefit. Here you have a food energy pyramid. The pyramid shows the producers on the beginning, then up and up. Why is each level smaller than the previous? Because energy is lost in each level. So the producers make the energy, they make the most. And then gradually the energy is lost and lost and lost. So that's that. Okay, now food web. Some students really have a hard time reading food web. So what I like to say, step one is identify the autotrophs. So you got the grass, the trees. Now the ways that you know that they're autotrophs is no arrows are pointing to them. Now some students will mistakenly read that the deer eats the mountain lion because the deer is pointing at the mountain lion. What I like to say is the deer is going into the belly of the mountain lion. He goes, and really what it is that his energy is going into the mountain lion, but he's going into his belly. Or just use common sense. Is the tree eating the deer? No, it's probably not. So then you figure it out on your own. If, let's say, you got to this and you didn't know and no one taught you anything, you should be able to figure it out. And then I'll ask them a bunch of questions like, what does the hawk eat? A hawk eats the snake. It eats the insect bird. It eats the rabbit. It eats the seed-eating bird. That might be a question, but whatever. So that's that. And it shows the flow of energy, the arrows, right? And then the answer to the next one is 4. Grasshoppers and mice compete for grass but not flower seeds. Yeah, so you got to go into each of them and look at what they eat and whatever. Okay, why is each fewer and fewer? All right, energy is lost. As heat is weird, but I guess so. Okay, here's another food web. Very simple.
Wait, it was actually a weird question.
Which statement regarding the organism is correct? There would be more. Oh, it is a hard question. Good. There would be more snakes than pocket gophers. There would be more coyotes than rabbits. There would be more insects than insect-eating birds. There would be more hawks than seed-eating birds. The rule is that there's more of the prey than the predator, always. Yeah. So the answer would be 3. There would be more insects than insect-eating birds. So there's got to be, if there was more of the predator than the prey, then it would go extinct, the prey, right? So that's why the snake eats the gophers, so there can't be more snakes than gophers. The coyote eats the rabbits. There can't be more coyotes than rabbits. So also on the food pyramid, similarly, there's more of the lower stuff, which makes sense. Diversity is very important. Biodiversity is the idea that there's a diversity of organisms in the environment. So if humans destroy stuff, they lose resources like medicine and plants. Ecological succession is how we get from a small little bare rock plot to a whole forest, and it goes in stages. In the beginning, the early stages are most vulnerable. They're least stable. And like in the beginning, if you just pull out the one seed, then it'll be gone. But by the time you get a forest, you could cut down every tree in there. They'll regrow. It has some stability there. So if a fire burnt down a huge forest, it would end up growing back. So that's 39. Is that, assuming a fire hit it, what would you assume to see in 2010? You would assume you'd see everything, the works again, 4 beech and maple trees. Resources. Okay, so our actions could destroy the ecosystem. Detrimental is damaging actions that we could take. Now, there's 2 types of resources. Renewable ones that we could renew, we can make more of, and non-renewable. Non-renewable is resources that we cannot, make more of. So, for example, gas. Eventually, we'll use up all the gas. Jen has a question.
Question 4.
On the previous question, yes.
Okay, it's on the chart of years.
Yeah.
And then it's saying...
It took 50 years for it to get from grass to beech and maple trees.
Great, never mind.
Okay. So if we use up all of the gas... No, but it's good. Don't be ashamed to ask questions. Dylan?
I don't have questions. I'm good right now.
No, I'm just teasing you. All right. But if you're a student in the course, you got to ask questions. I was sitting with students yesterday. They just stare at me. Speak, please. Okay. Renewable... Renewable. It's much... Renewable resources can be replaced, non-renewable can't be. So oil, we're going to eventually use it all up. That's why it's better to use sunlight or something that continues to be there. Water is one of those things that can be replaced. You know, it rains, we drink it, we pee it out, it evaporates, it goes back down. So that's renewable. Energy flow, I'm not sure, we're a little bit out of order here. Those two slides belong somewhere way back up, so just skip those. Humans are part of the ecosystem, they affect it. Humans harm the ecosystem. Like population growth for humans is always a bad thing for the environment. How do people harm the things? They move species around. So this is something like you'd feel a little hazit. Like they might, the humans probably saw this nice furry animal and they said, oh great, let's bring this to our land. They brought it across, on a plane. Next thing they know, the little fur balls destroying all the other guys, out competing them. They didn't know that bringing them there, you would out compete everyone. Or, they find this plant and it's good for medicine. They go, let's just plant it in my garden here. Next thing, nana leaves, I love those. Let me plant them in my backyard. Next thing I know, all the trees are run down by this weed that savaged the area. So moving species around, land use, cutting down trees, habitat destruction, right? So, and it's understandable why humans would do that. We didn't want to live with all the savage animals that were eating us up, so we killed them all and they're gone. But it is also sad. Spraying pesticides to keep the crops safe, but also poison the environment. So there's no right answers here, but you should be aware that these happen. The Regents obviously has an agenda to teach you about protecting it, though. Deforestation, depleting finite resources. Finite is not infinite. Using up a non-renewable resource. Burning fossil fuels. Just an obnoxious way to honk. Who honks like that? Yesterday I almost honked like that. They were really doing something rude. They were just blocking the street for a long time. Burning fossil fuels that create CO2, greenhouse gases, contributes to global warming. Pollution and toxic waste. That's another way that we could cause issue. Fine. And then here you got a zillion questions on it. Do we have to go through all of them? Did you get all? All of them are easy, right? Let's go through them. It should be basic. Global warming. So let's talk a little bit about global warming. The idea is basically this. We have been burning fossil fuels or cutting down trees, which increases carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide gets trapped in the air. It's a greenhouse, and the greenhouse gases. So now we have a whole thick layer, and all the heat's trapped in here. Another thing is that the greenhouse gases, or some of the pollution we make, burns holes in the ozone layer, which is designed to keep the sun out. And now sun is coming in. They say that it's a fact, global warming, but I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard to know if anything's a fact in this day and age, but it is. No? Don't you feel that way? Like some things are either true or not true, and we just don't know. I don't know why we don't know. Some people say it is, some say it's not. How could it's either true or not? Yeah. Okay, what can we do to save the environment? It's a tough time. You have all the info, but you can't find the answers. Jen's making symbols that I'm off. You could vocalize. I got peripheral vision.
I wanted you to see.
Oh yeah, you tried to sneak that in. We also have that camera up there, but he's not on. Well, anyhow, okay. What can we do to save the environment? Recycle. Find alternative energy sources. Don't do anything, but definitely don't try to save an animal that's going to be extinct from the predators by protecting them, or weird things like that. And there's always a trade-off. Windmills block people's views or block the sun. Protecting habitats stop development. So decisions are tough to make. Ways to protect the environment are all listed here. And then you have these long answers. This is a massive lesson just in terms of scope of what it covers.
Yeah, I did 2 of the questions there, right? You did.
Right, so I did a few of them, but then
I just don't know this one.
many communities have started programs to dispose of evergreen trees after holidays. These programs allow individuals to bring trees shredded and chips are spread. Programs benefit the environment by increasing pollution, no. Taking up more space in landfills, obviously no. Returning materials to the environment, probably. Increasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, that's bad. So that's 3. Yeah, it's saying it's nice, at least that the Christmas trees, I don't know, they used to put them in a landfill. So that's it. This topic obviously comes up tons. So as boring as it is to practice, it's clearly the most tested topic on the region. So, okay. Evolution. Evolution's a great theory. I love it. It's a fascinating thing. I think of a lot of stuff about this. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Let's stop.